Hey, fellow rock stars, Greg T here. I'm going to go through this entire process of taking your site, exporting it, putting it onto an Amazon S3, verifying it, and indexing it. Okay, so we're going to cover everything. You may know how to do things. You want to skip ahead, feel free to do so. But I would suggest going through it at least one time because I'm sure you're going to see things that are going to be helpful. Up to you. All right, I'm in a dummy site here. I call it a dummy site because you can see it's all garbage text and everything. We just want to use this for an example. All right, so I'm going to export this site. I'm not going to touch anything here. You can rename it if you want to. It's just going to give it another name on the zip file, but why bother? Let's export it. And now in my downloads folder, I created a folder called My Sites. Okay, in my downloads folder, I've got a ton of stuff. So in here, I created a folder called My Sites. This way I keep everything organized. Now, you notice that Google waited for me to tell it where to put it. That's easy. Just go over to the three dots on the right and go to your settings and tell tell Chrome that you want to set your own destination. And then you can put it into whatever folders you want to. All right, I created one for today and I labeled it 11/7/19. There's nothing here. So I saved this. And that's finished. Okay, I'm going to go to that folder. And there's my archive zip file. Okay. Now, you know you can resize your windows any way you want. Just go to the size of the corner to get the double arrow. Right click on the file. And if you don't have 7-zip installed, you can use extract all. That comes with Windows. They'll both do the same thing. I just like to use 7-zip. Okay, so we extract all. I'm not going to extract it to a folder. I'm going to remove this folder. I just want the files and folders themselves to go in here. So now I click extract. There's my bundles folder, my images folder, and my index.html. Now I'm finished with my zip file, but I'm going to leave it here. Well, actually, I am done with it. I'm just going to delete it. No question. Okay. Now I'm going to take this window. Oops. I'm going to take this window, move it over on the side here. I'm going to go back to my Chrome browser, and I'm going to reduce the size of the screen. And I'm going to go to, now let's put it back big again. I created a folder in my S3 management console, and I named it 001-Google-verification. I use the numbers because it gets kind of crazy trying to find things and going through a whole list. So if you number them, they'll be at the top of the list. So I go inside here, and there's nothing here, but I'm going to have to change my permissions. Let me go back here a second. If you notice, bucket and objects are not public. Now, if you forgot to do that, just click on the bucket, go to your permissions, and you can see block all public access is on. We're going to edit this and just take this check mark off. That makes everything open. And we save it. We have to type in the word confirm so that Amazon knows that that's what we want to do. All right. Oops, unexpected error. What could that be? Let's save it again. All right, updated that time. Might have been a little flux in the atmosphere. Let's go back to the overview. We have nothing in here. So now we're going to upload those files. So I'm going to click on upload, and I'm going to reduce the size of my window. This way I can see everything that's here, and I can see everything that's in my folder here. Now I select all of these files, and I just drag them over to my bucket. Absolutely easy. Click on upload. And let's open this up to full size again. And we see our two folders and our file is there. So we select everything here, go to actions, and we're going to make public. And click make public. So far, so good, right? Nothing to it. Let's take out the check marks, and we're going to deal with the file that we need to work with. And that's the index.html. So we just click on that, scroll down, and we see our object URL. Now I want to take a second to go over that a moment. If you notice, it's got the SSL certificate, so it's got HTTPS. It's got the bucket name. That's the name of your bucket. Where it's being hosted, which is the s3.amazonaws.com. And the file is the index.html. You want the complete path up to the file name. Now I have this down here just in case you turned around and uploaded that whole folder, the website folder, or whatever you named it, and put that here, put that in your bucket. So now you have the name of your bucket, the host of your bucket, the folder with all the files, and the file that you're working with. So no matter how many folders you've got in here, you've got to include the folder that your index.html file is in, your images folder is in, and your bundles folder is in. So the only thing you leave out here is your index.html. So you really make life easier for yourself if you don't deal with the folder in here. Because then all you have to do when you want to change things is to delete the files that are there and re-index. All right, so let's go back over here. We're going to get everything all the way up to the index.html file, or whatever file you have here. You may have a PDF file. That's the only thing that we're not grabbing here. So anything in front of the file that you were working with has to be copied. So we copy this, and now we're going to go over to our Google Console. Now, I told you it's going to be easy. So that thing that we just copied, that address, that URL, we're going to paste that right in there. Okay? We click continue. And it gives me a file. We're going to spend a few minutes with this file. Once you notice that it begins with Google, it's got a code, then it's .html. That is exactly the only thing that Google is going to verify. If you make that any other name, it's garbage. Okay? So we're going to download this. We're going to click on this and download it. And I'm going to put it in my 11.7.19 folder. Okay, so I have it in the same folder. And I save it. Now I go back to my S3 Management Console, go back to my overview, or just click on the bucket itself, and I'm going to upload. I'm going to add the file, go to my downloads, go to my sites, go today's date, and there's a file. Now, if you notice, we still have Google, the code, .html. Nothing has been changed. So let's open that. Again, Google, the code, .html. We're looking good. Upload it. Okay, another check. Google, the code, .html. Looks good. And while we're here, just so we don't forget, we're going to go to our actions, select it, go to our actions, and we're going to make that file public. Now, this is a Google verification file. You have a unique code that's assigned to your account to this URL. It may give you the same code for other sites, but it's your code, it's nobody else's. Okay? Just make sure that you're using the exact same code. And if you look inside of the HTML file with any notepad, or I use Notepad++, if you look inside at the contents, you'll see it says Google-site-verification, and the exact name of the file. Anything that's changed aborts the whole idea. It's not going to work. And everybody that, if you can't go through these instructions and make it work, you have done something wrong. All right. So now we have our files here. Everything's set. And we can see, let's take the check mark off here. Let's look at our index HTML file. We can click on that. And we can see that everything's here. Okay. Just wanted to show you, just so you know that everything's working fine. Let me back out of this. Go back to the folder. And let's just go back over to Google. Well, are we going to verify? I wonder. Let's click verify. Now, if you can do it any faster, well, you can, because you don't have to describe it to somebody. But that's how fast it's done. Okay? So at this point, you don't need to do anything else with that Google verification file. But let me go here and remind you that you should never lose this, never delete this. This always should stay in here as long as you're using this bucket. You may change the bundles and the images folders and the index HTML. Never delete the verification file. Just to clarify that. Okay, as long as you're using this bucket, and you can't use this verification file anyplace else but this bucket. Okay, let's go back over to Google. All right, we're verified. We can go done, or we can go to the property. Let's go to the property. Okay, you can see the site has been switched to mobile first. All right, now over here, you may get different screens. It depends. Amazon always does things, and so does Google. So, got to keep up to date. But now we're going to inspect any URL in the address that we gave them. So let's go back over here, and this time we're going to go to our index HTML file, and we're going to grab the whole thing. Okay, copy the whole thing, go back to our Search Console, and paste that in there. Press enter. Now this takes a little bit, but it gets done. All right. It says URL is not on Google. Well, it's not. It's brand new. So we go over here and we're going to request indexing. Remember, I didn't really do anything with this site. This is just junk, just to give you instructions. There should be enough there that it'll turn around and index it, however. All right, now submitting the request, and it was added to a priority crawl. Okay. And while we're here, we can test the live URL, but we pretty much are done. All right, URL is available to Google. We are done here. Let's go back to our S3 console. And I'm going to show you what happens sometimes, okay? You see now that you do not have to download the Google verification file over and over, okay? If you downloaded it, even if the name was changed, some people get a .txt added to the file name. You can rename it. You can rename it right here. Just select it here, go to your actions, go to rename, and correct the name. If there's a parenthesis with a number in it, take it out because it doesn't belong here. You will never see a parenthesis in the Google verification file name. But I'll show you how it happens. Let's cancel this because this one's all right. Let's go back to upload. And we're going to upload the same file again. Or actually, if you download it, what will happen is you'll get a repeat. You'll get this with a parenthesis and a number in it. The first time you download it again, it'll be parenthesis 1, close parenthesis. And the next time you download it, it'll be parenthesis 2, close parenthesis, and so on. All you have to do is rename it. Remember what I said. If you look at the Google verification file, let's cancel this. This is the format that it'll always be in. There's nothing after the HTML, and there's nothing in here but the code. No parentheses. And if you look inside the file, you will see exactly the same name that it has to be. So if there's any change to this, just correct it. Make sure that these two names are exactly the same, and you're done. But as I said, once you download the Google verification file, there's absolutely no reason to download it again for the same site. So you should never have this problem. Keep on rocking.